set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. Don't stop. Stepping up. Back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so what? You're gonna be hurting bad, cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad, I stay strong. You will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you're gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math, when I hate, I attack. I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me.
Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control.
Good morning, Hive. I hope everybody had a great night's sleep. I sure did. Last night was a lot of fun. Thank you to everybody who stuck it out. We did a 4-hour stream. Waking up feeling bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Nothing better. Nothing better when you walk out unscathed after sitting in front of your webcam for 4 hours with your internet friends in the Hive. Feel great. Got my energy drink. Mrs. Birdie opened up our fridge last night and she goes, "Did you drink all those?" I was like, "It was a party." Actually, I said, I was like, "It was a movie last night, babe. You wouldn't understand." She's like, "Jesus Christ, I got to watch the replay." She goes, "How rowdy did it get?" And I said, "Well, I was shotgunning seltzers, if that says anything." But yeah, thank you everybody who hung out. And, I know that I had given that new theory. I wanted to kind of put that out there last night, see if people were able to wrap their head around it, and then really dive into that today. That's right, Holly. Mildly partying. That's how I know that all of our brains are very similar, because we find the same stuff funny in the Hive. It's epic. Yeah, the long lives are really great. You're drinking 2 shots of espresso. We were mildly wild. What's going on, Donna? You just finished watching it? Yeah, it was pretty, it was fun. It was a good time. Yeah. Yeah, DA was, I don't even know. What up? Paisley's posts. Tinfoil hat Claire. Crown says, mildly awake. That's funny. That is funny. What up, Discord Dawn? Good to see you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. You fell asleep during it? That's awesome. Mildly drinking with DA, mildly talking. Oh, Jesus. I didn't even finish reading that until I just put that on screen. If you're new to the Hive, we don't talk about those injections at all, ever. So don't run. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We made plans to go to Vegas. That's awesome. That is awesome. What's up, Redman? Good to see you. We're also streaming on X this morning. Run far away. What's up, Luna? Yeah. I like that, though. I think for the Friday nights that I can do that, I'll bump it back to 9, and we can kind of just let loose a little bit. You know, I think it's a good end of the week recap. Have some fun. What's up, Kaylee? Crossroads Accounting and Tax. How are you doing? Coffee and Red Bull. Yeah, I came out unscathed, surprisingly. At least right now I feel unscathed. I am golfing for one of my buddies. I'm his best man in his wedding, and I'm golfing today with some of the other groomsmen. So that'll be fun. What's going on, Becky? Yeah, I think 9 is a good time. 9's a good time because if we did our typical time of an hour and a half or 90 minutes is how I usually run these at night, gets you to 10:30 and 11. It's reasonable. Not every night has to be a full send, and I don't know if every night I will be shotgunning seltzers. How do I answer that? I was on JV as a senior in high school. So no. But it was $30 at my high school to play golf, and you got to play 9 holes every day after school. Yep. What up, friend of God? Yes, please do like and subscribe. Yeah. Mrs. Birdie just texted me. Yeah, right. I feel like I'll be the dad though. When I go out on the golf course, I'll have like the clubs that I can walk with, but it'll be like a stroller as well. I'll have like a golf bag stroller. She's right in the thick of it. So, oh, well, you know what? Outcast, if we start doing those late night Friday nights, that'd be fun. Maybe do kind of a call-in style live with him. I don't have a golf bag stroller yet, but I see one in my future. All right. So what I want to get into is what I was saying last night. Now, it is a completely different way of looking at the Idaho 4. And that is, what if the people that were killed inside the house weren't the roommates? And I just want everybody to try to, let's do this exercise. Think through it as like, let's try to debunk this theory. But what do we have that we can see that proves these roommates in the house weren't just hurt and were actually killed? And I promise you, this is just an exercise. Please do not get rattled or offended. I'm going somewhere with this theory. And when we watch Dylan Mortensen's interview with the cop, if you didn't know anything about this case, you would think that people just got hurt in the house. There's no mention of homicide. There's no mention of being deceased or murder, stabbing, shooting. Is that one of those people that got hurt? And when you look at the crime scene photos, it looks like a scene where somebody or people got hurt. It doesn't look like a quadruple brutal stabbing. So now, what if okay, so two of the families had parents who were cooperating with the feds. Their two daughters both lived in 1122 King Road. I'm trying to piece together, and this is what I want to talk about this morning in the Hive. Hive, was there a fifth? You know how they said 4 dead, 1 hospitalized, right? If we're going to run with the theory that maybe it wasn't the 4 roommates, like who's to say that the girls didn't kill the attackers? Dylan heard Kaylee run up the stairs, yell, "Someone's here," or "Someone's in the house," run down the stairs. Bethany hears a flash and a bang, says it was a firecracker. Dylan hears a voice she doesn't know say, "It's okay, I'm here to help you." Arguably in the body cam says, "That man right there, help me," and points at Gunderson. Who's to say that Kaylee didn't run upstairs, grab her gun, and shoot the guy? And then does that make Steve G in his interviews make a little bit more sense? It's time to put Idaho on the map. I paid that bill. Someone be alpha. Someone step up. Who put out this hit? We killed your guy who tried to kill my daughter. And I can speak on that. Essentially, is what it could translate to. So that's the theory. And that's why they won't release the photos, is because I don't think we would see 3 female bodies and a male body. I think we would see possibly 2 male bodies or 3 male bodies. And if one of the people in the house did get killed, it certainly seems like it would be Xana and Maddie for some reason to me. Oh, thank you so much, Tracy from Bama, for the golf stroller. But here's where I'm also a little bit going to have to lean on the Hive. The 2 families who were cooperating with the feds were barely in the media. But the Chapins and the Goncalves family were. Do you know how in the autopsy, the defense expert has said, in their opinion, it looks like there was not just 2 weapons, but 2 different like means or motives, arguably a male and a female? Who's to say that Ethan didn't go and fuck these guys up and Xana or one of the girls wasn't fighting them off? And then you got, Redman, good point. You got Dylan pulling up in the morning, but what I want to do is I want to build this timeline. I want to build the timeline, and right now I just want to talk through it. I'd really like to, get a whiteboard and do it, but I don't think that we have this theory worked through enough to where I feel like we won't necessarily get stuck. So can you guys work with me right now? I'll put some up on the screen. Would that make sense for the 911 call delay? And then also, I've had this weird thought that what if the pressure, what if the girls who have said they felt like they had a stalker, what if that was somebody who was trying to case them out to put a hit on them? What if there was another male living in the house with them? Almost not like a handler, but almost like a live-in off-duty cop. And I know everybody says like those golf clubs were Ethan and that room that's empty and they won't show the certain rooms. Is that because it wasn't a girl's room? Was there a police officer living in the house because they knew that they could possibly be attacked? So that's why I wonder if they're so cautious with these photos. But the point that I wanted to make, when everybody says why, everybody says, why would they do that? Well, think about how big of a nightmare it would be if you are running at the top levels of the FBI a federal investigation into the area Knights or cartel-linked networks on the I-95 Pacific Northwest Highway. Whether it be there's local corruption with LE and other powerful people in that area, which we know is true. Whether it be they're selling drugs through the fraternity networks, the Greek life, which we know could be true. And you're surveilling the house, or you have daughters of people who are now informants. If somebody tried to go and assassinate those daughters to send a message, and it happened while that investigation was going on a college campus, do you think that that would be a good look? Like you have to pick the best of the worst options from a PR standpoint. That would be devastating to the University of Idaho if they came out and they said, hey guys, we had a federal operation going on our campus because we've been infiltrated by drug networks. We have local cops that are corrupt. Oh, and 2 of the girls that were killed, their parents, they cooperated. They flipped on them, and they went and they killed them inside their house in their sleep. Would it be better if you said that entire thing that I just laid out, and they tried to go assassinate them? Luckily, the girls, or there was a male there, and shot and killed the intruders. Or is the best option to pick some new kid that just so happened to transfer, move into an apartment that looks like nobody even lived there? He has no friends. There's nothing but narrative surrounding this guy. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't appeal. He just takes a quiet plea deal. He sits there. They build this perfect cover story around Brian Koberger. And it's a public facing conviction that it was just some crazy one-off lone wolf. That's the best case PR. Let's be honest. And you know what? That's not a bad thought either, Nicole. Like, it could be private security. And you're right, Miss Anonymous. That's an aspect, like the local economics of what a university will do or not do for a city completely depends on the perception of it. Well said. Yeah, it is deep, and it's different because I think it makes more sense than a lot of other theories. And I think that the reason why is it's taking us this long to get to this point. Think about the girl's demeanor and everybody in that house's demeanor when the cops show up. How many times have we said, that does not look or sound like their 4 friends were just brutally murdered? Well, let's flip it. Does it look like somebody came in and tried to attack them and they killed or hurt those attackers? Because honestly, when I think of it in that light, I'd expect to see exactly that. I'd expect to see exactly that. And you know what's so weird? I have yet to hear one person in these interviews talk about the DoorDash driver to the cops. Has anybody heard that? And I could have missed it. I don't think I've heard one of the people say, because if they were up around 4, right? The other thing too, with the blood is, guys, I'm almost convinced that the shooting is what happened, not just based on what Chrissy and Olivia and Steve said on their couch, that their niece called them and said someone tried to come shoot up the party. But I'm going to be honest. That house doesn't look like 4 stabbings, but I could see it there being people that were shot in those rooms. I could see all the blood being pertained because those people didn't move once they were stabbed. Or shot, rather. What I'm saying, so Late Bloomer asks, if what you're saying is true, that would mean that the killers were these girls and that they killed them off. No. I think the girls are in witness protection. That's what I'm saying. Where are the people that got killed and how are the other people killed also? Well, I believe that essentially what they did is they swapped out. Again, I'm theorizing, everybody. I'm theorizing because nothing makes sense about the official narrative. So I'm theorizing. This is a great question. Thank you for the question, Late Bloomer. So I'm saying, put yourself in the girl's shoes. You're well aware that your parents cooperated with this group. If you hear one of your roommates say, oh my God, someone's in the house, you hear a bang, see a flash, see a guy apparently in a ski mask, you hear somebody say, it's okay, I'm going to help you, you're going to be all right, whatever it was, didn't recognize the voice. I mean, I find it hard to believe that girls in a college house wouldn't have some means necessary. Just seeing how Steve G is a dad. You don't think, I feel like it's not unrealistic to think that somebody doesn't have a weapon in there. And that's what I'm getting at, Tessa. That's what I'm getting at. I think that's why they're not showing us the photos. Yeah, and I feel like whenever I put a theory out there like this, I've waited a little bit longer. Like if you've been following me since the TikTok days when I did like Operation Bundy Protocol. I did the Right of the Twins. I've done WITSEC. I've done PSYOP. I've done false flags. This is one where, and I would usually present slides on it. I don't know how to make slides for this one. You know what I mean? I don't know. Yes, you're calling the damn cops or you're running for help, period. You're definitely not calling it a night and hitting the sack. All of these events seem to make more sense if you frame it in the light of they stopped whoever was trying to attack them. Yeah, that's what I mean. And it makes sense on the behaviors. And like it also frames things like the Chapins sending their kids right back to school right after in a different light. If Ethan was in the house and they stopped them, whether it's WITSEC, and then they killed the attacker, and then also it doesn't make the Othram thing weird at all. If anything, it gets support for the FBI, and now the FBI brings them under their wings for the IGG. Maybe they did have to identify this dead guy through IGG, but we've never seen the knife. We've never seen the sheath. The cleanup, if there was evidence of the cleanup, who's to say that the cops weren't there earlier? Who's to say that the Banfield footage isn't just, because I don't know if I can go as far to say that that's a coincidence. I don't think it is, the timing of that. But I would be curious if, like, is that like party's over and they were you know what I mean? Like heading home because of some scuffle that went down at a party, or maybe the cop showed up across the street. Yeah, that's a good question. Is Idaho a stand your ground state? Great question, half-baked cookie. Which that's so important. Like if you move, you need to know that. Let's see what this says. Yes, it is. Very interesting. Exactly. There are questions. Okay, Z, I'm so glad you just said this because I have some questions that I want to ask everybody. And let me pull them up. One second. So, where are these things? So also too, I'll let you guys in on a little bit of, I guess, free game on how I make the slides and how it's efficient. This mic that I have, it can hook up to where I do the verbal like dictate into Chat GPT, and I tell it to like lay out what slides would look like, and I just speak my theory into it. And I say, now I need you to put questions in there that help relate to this and that get the chat interacted. And so that's how I'm able to do this each night. I mean, it does still take a lot of time making it look pretty. Here is the raw version of it. So full transparency here in the Hive, it's a super helpful tool. And if you are doing that, what's up, babe? All right, love you. Drive safe. Text when you get there. So, all right, what moves the needle? So, who was reported unconscious? Okay, whoops, I had the wrong thing shared. Who was reported unconscious? Do we know? We think that it was about Xana, right? And that's interesting, though, because we think it's about Xana because we hear voices in the background that are going, Xana, right? But even on the body cam, do we hear? I'm serious. In the body cam footage, does anybody say when they walk in the house with the cops, does anybody point and say, yeah, that's Xana? Like, why wouldn't you be saying who that is? So you should be able to do this free, by the way, which also I've had a handful of people. I don't know if anybody would be interested in this. I have had a lot of people reach out. I guess not a lot, but probably about 10, whether it be via email or sending me a DM on Discord about what tools do I use. I think if you guys would like, I'm more than happy to do like a 30-minute live randomly at some point for anybody that be interested in seeing, like, if you want to start your own channel or stream, what tools I use. I mean, I don't use anything. I don't use any paid service other than StreamYard, and I bought YouTube Premium so that I don't have ads when I show videos. But yeah, it's there's a lot of tips and tricks too that you can do with ChatGPT. Like there's connectors. So like, you know, you can connect Canva to it, but yeah. So if people are interested in that, just let me know, and yeah, I could even help you out for your job. That's a great point, Discord Dawn. That would make sense. So how about this? In the spirit of this being a live dig, what would be the one thing that we could look at right now? What video could we look at right now that would help with this theory? Would it be the victim impact statements? Would it be the PCA? That could be fun. What would we be able to hear where it's like, okay, that lines up with they actually like I'm just telling you, Steve G's demeanor makes way more sense that his daughter had to kill somebody and is now in WITSEC than she got killed. Good morning, Tiggle Biddies. How you doing? Yeah, anything. I'm glad you said that, Care Bear. Anything pre-police reports. Again, this is a working theory, everybody. And if you are watching on X, please pop on over to YouTube. I'm going to end the stream on X. My YouTube channel is right here. Whoops. It is Birdie_Hive Mind. So pop on over to YouTube, get in the chat over there. I usually start them on X, try to, reach new people, grow the hive a little bit. And I will see you here if you're on X. Thank you so much. So, all right. What did we decide? Nunez first report is a good idea. While we think of that, I got to go fill up my water. I'll be right back. What's up, Dina? Okay. Type of one or two. Like I don't want to do this because I know we've watched this before. For whatever reason, something in me is telling me that it has to be like video. It has to be interviews. It has to be things like that with the parents. Like I go back to last night, we had watched Steve G and Christy outside of Moscow PD, but I think we should start there. That was the first interview of the parents. I think we should start there. It's a 9-minute clip. And then I think what we should do is go and look back, maybe even at the PCA. I think we should watch that interview, and I think we should not know anything about the case. And I get worried about the court records because everyone's, but then again, I'm like, man, if we looked at the court records and didn't know anything about the case and just read them, it's weird. I feel like we have to do the opposite with the court documents. With the court documents, we have to look at it in the light of what we are theorizing now. With the video evidence, we have to look at it in the light of we don't know anything. Okay, let's yeah, you were typing PCA as I said it.
Good evening, America, and welcome to this special edition of Cross Country in Moscow, Idaho. Tonight, we are in front of the Moscow Police Department, and you may be asking why. It's been about 3 weeks since the horrific stabbing death of 4 college students at the University of Idaho. 3 weeks since we lost Zaina, Maddie, Kaylee, and Ethan. 3 weeks, and still the police have no suspect or person of interest. The community has been left in limbo, left with more confusion and more questions. We are on the hunt for answers for them. Moscow deserves answers. The students of the university deserve answers. These 4 young, innocent victims deserve answers, and so do their families. So let's start there. Joining me now on set, the parents of Kaylee Gonzalez, Christy and Steve Gonzalez. Thank y'all so much for being with me. You guys have been so
my little brother tunes in every now and again, and he's got a brain wired like me. My little brother since day one has said that he feels like Steve G is wearing that hoodie on purpose. Like my brother's like, I don't know. And my brother's 28 years old. He's like, there's something about that hoodie, dude. I'm telling you. He's like, that doesn't make sense that you would wear a cat construction hoodie talking about something like this. He's like, don't you think you'd be in like a jacket? And it's an interesting take. I don't know if that could mean something or if it's tied to something. And the hats. Yes, he's also said about the hats. So I don't know. I mean, it is interesting. Like if you look at what Steve wears throughout the interviews, they're always eye-catching for what they are.
transparent and strong for the public. Christy, you called the person that did this the boogeyman.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
It's literally like what nightmares are made of. Like when you're a little kid and you think of the boogeyman, that's just how I feel. Like that's just the horrific details of everything. Them just having a good time, going home and going to bed, and this happening to them.
Your best friend crawling into bed.
Just crawling in bed.
Every
and
girl
the
in
boogeyman
America
comes.
knows what that's
The
like.
boogeyman doesn't, you know, meet you at McDonald's. I mean, the boogeyman comes and snatches you out of your bedroom.
Steve, we've been talking. I've been talking to folks in the community. You said something that stuck with me. You said, until this person is caught, you can't sleep in your bed.
No. I can't just lay in my bed and do nothing. That's not the way I raised my family. That's not the way I raised my girls and my son. You don't be a victim. You stand up for yourself and you do everything in your power to make sure people hear you. And they're gonna hear Kaylee. They're gonna hear Maddie. They're gonna hear these.
The other two as well.
Yes.
All of them.
I'm careful saying anything about them because I need to be careful because I can't speak on somebody else's child, but
He needs to be careful because he doesn't want them becoming targets. I told her, he's like, I raised her to not be a victim. Like, they are being very, very careful. Watch this interview through the light of that. These girls actually stopped the attacker and killed them. And I'm sorry, but people go, so they're covering for the girls. I don't know if you can even call it covering. Yes, from a 40,000 foot view, but if there's people that are under, federal protection because their parents cooperated with them. I mean, Xana's mom in an interview says, I really hope this isn't because of X, Y, and Z, right? That's a fact. You could look at that on paper. She says, I really hope this isn't because of working with them and with all that shit. It's a cat net catcher? Explain that more, puppeteer.
about them because I need to be careful because I can't speak on somebody else's child, but these two girls, I'm not trying to be a glory hound, but these two girls, I'm going to do what I can do, and we're not being victims. We're going to fight. We're going to figure out how to make sure that we hold everybody, accountable, and we keep eyes and attention on this and get this thing resolved.
Steve, you have made it very clear to our audience that you are supportive of law enforcement. You support the investigation. But recently, I've been watching and talking with you, and you're getting frustrated. Where does that frustration come from, sir?
They put certain people between you and the officers that are making things happen, and those people are like lawyers, and they don't want to say anything, and they don't have the guts to come up and be alpha and be like leaders and say, hey, we might say something that's wrong. We're going to take that hit. So the officers, they look me straight in their eyes. The lead detective looked me in his eyes. I have no doubt he's working as hard as he can, but somebody isn't communicating. There's nothing being released. It seems like they're trying to suppress the story. We want to put rewards out. They're like, don't do that. Yeah, I get it. Your town doesn't want to have reward posters posted all over when you come and you do your rush. You're not going to get a lot of students if they see those things. But this community is not going to heal until this guy's pulled off the streets. It ain't going to happen. Think it through. It's not going to happen. He has to be off the streets. We all are working for the same thing.
When was the last time y'all heard from?
That seems like they know who this is. That seems like they know that this is somebody that has caused havoc in the past, that they got to get him off the street.
The police.
Thursday,
We looked at our phone records. We want to be accurate. We don't want to sell anyone out.
about 3 o'clock on Thursday.
And did y'all get an update from the police about the investigation?
There was nothing. We have no updates for you.
There was no update. They needed me to
text.
sign a waiver form so that they could investigate something
Some mail.
that was mail related. So we're working with them. We're not selling them out. We love our law support.
The FBI, everybody that's here. We just have no information as family, and it gets tough day after day after day. I mean, every day you just wake up and think today's the day. We're going to hear something, and you see these, there's a break in the case, and it'll just be something stupid.
The sixth person on the lease that was never there. Stop playing games. This is serious. These are people's lives, and this is the future of this community. There's going to be 10,000, 15,000 kids that come into this community next year, or they don't. So be serious.
I had the opportunity to speak to some of my sources, and I've been told that there were differences in the way that the victims were killed. Some were more severe than the other. And this week we heard the target attack walk back and then reverse it back to it being a target attack. What can you tell us about the targeted attack?
So here's how I'm thinking this might have went down. This interview correct me if I'm wrong, was this interview the first time that it was said in the public eye the victims had different wounds? Because I think it was. I don't think this news anchor is brought into the loop, so his line of questioning makes sense for just being brought up to speed beforehand. So this is the first time that this has come out. I'm wondering. Okay, guys. Okay, I'm piecing this together. I'm trying to. I'm thinking out loud here. So bear with me. We all know that it's a wild, it's almost weirder to expect to hear nothing. Asleep or not. I'm sorry, drunk or not. Depending on how messed up you are. I would find it very hard to sleep through a giant ruckus. So who's to say that what Kaylee heard wasn't somebody attacking Xana? Xana and Ethan get hurt fighting this guy off. And Kaylee runs down and shoots the guy. Does that make sense? That's how a body would get in that room. Someone's in the house. Someone's here. Ran down the stairs. That's when they hear the bang. That's when they see the flash. The bodies still end up in that room. We go, why wouldn't Dylan, if she apparently saw someone laying there in the doorway, well, what if it was the victim? Or I'm sorry, what if it was the perp?
I've been told that there were differences in the way that the victims were killed. Some were more severe than the other. And
Yes.
this week we heard the target attack walk back and then reverse it back to it being a target attack. What can you tell us about the targeted attack?
They have told us that it was targeted, but they told us they can't tell who. We asked specifically, and they said, we'll try to get that information to you. And they got back to us a day or so later, and they said, we're sorry, we can't give you that information. But then a day later, we saw in the news that it was not targeted, or they think the whole house was targeted. But
This almost seems like they're confused on like, okay, guys, what's our narrative we're going to put out? We are lost. We are confused. So is this targeted? Is this not targeted? I mean, we're telling people that it is and that it isn't. And it seems like they're getting frustrated because they don't know what to say. It's like they can't keep their lines straight. They don't know, like they're seeing different stuff all over the news. That's what this sounds like.
I'll cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Their means of death don't match.
Maddie's
They don't.
and Kaylee's cause of death, it does not match based on the autopsy report.
They don't match.
Would indicate that one of them.
He doesn't have to
may
go
have
up
been
the
target.
steps. Let's stop playing games, guys. I need somebody to step up and be an alpha. Be somebody to be a leader. Don't make me do it. I don't want to do it. He doesn't have to go up the steps. Their points of damage don't match. I'm just gonna say it. It wasn't leaked to me. I earned that. I paid for that funeral. I paid for that. It's my right. You ain't taking that from me.
calm down.
If you don't want to say nothing, that's your bet. But don't say I'm leaking anything. I paid that bill. Sent my daughter to college to get an education. She came back in the box, and I can speak on that.
I was also told.
So they sound mad. They sound mad. Rich, don't get me wrong. 3 weeks after, yeah, you're going to be mad. But this seems mad like the holy shit, I cannot believe that somebody tried to kill our daughter mad. I don't know. It's just, that's what keeps coming into my head. And again, remember, we are trying to forget and go back to, we're looking at this with fresh eyes. Because if we didn't do it this way, I probably wouldn't be diving into this again. And I would be focusing more on the, like, why isn't Brian Koberger appealing? But I don't think that that's the route to go. I think that that's purposeful distraction with Brian Koberger not appealing. I don't believe that this case is even what we've been told. And people might hate to hear that because it's hard to wrap your head around it. But this is the theory that I'm working with now, is that there was perpetrators killed inside of that house. And the 4 people or 5 people that were dead in that house were not all the roommates. There was a killer amongst them.
From sources that are closer to an investigation, because there was a lot of roommates in there. And this was horrific for those roommates that were there as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
The preservation of this crime scene. Witnesses tell me that it may have well been preserved because the phone was passed around between one of the fraternity members and the girls. One of them unfortunately witnessed the death, the body there. Can you confirm that?
We cannot actually. We know nothing about that whole phone call. We've asked, and it's, I mean, I know that a lot of people want to know, but that's just not our agenda. We just are like, somebody called 911, somebody was reported unconscious. We don't really know. I mean, we've heard so many different things and nothing has been clarified or been told to us at all. And I mean, I don't know if I personally have asked.
Does anybody believe that? I'm serious. Because now let's frame it in the light of this. If it was a lone wolf actor and they were stabbed in their sleep, I don't think that it would be confusing, everybody. I don't think that it would be this giant 30-day thing. There's no way.
Asked anything about that. I don't know if you have asked that, but we know that this is getting 3 weeks in and it's starting to get, we don't want it to go cold. We're reaching out. I've reached out to friends down in California today that have connections that we're hoping to raise some money to get a reward, to get a private investigator.
Third party.
Why go the private route? Do y'all worry that at the end of this week that this case may be
100%.
cold?
We're scared.
When you tell me you don't want a photo up there with the reward offering information, that kind of sounds like you're trying to like suppress the story. I mean, why do you not need help? But hey, I could be wrong. And you officers, I apologize if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
That to me sounds like, why are you not going to put a poster out? Because you know who's wanted. You know who's wanted. They know that it is the leader of some sort of drug network. Put it out there. Who knows this man? Reward, turn him in. And I think the Fed said that's not the way that we're going to do it. We have to collect evidence on them so that when we actually get to them, we have a case that we can charge them with, is what I think that he's essentially saying that he's confused about. Because that would be really hard to wrap your head around. Like, why not just put a wanted poster out? People know this guy. Clearly, he's on the streets. We need to get him off the streets. Put a wanted poster out there. Make him not able to show his face. And they have to say they did that same shit with the mob. They had to get the wiretaps. They had to build these cases. Otherwise, these people walk.
Absolutely.
Please forgive me. Please forgive me. But if you don't have the information, people do know. If they don't, then you
Give
know
us
the
something.
community. This is a community that is IT based. These guys live a digital footprint like we've never. All of us older people.
And now listen to what happens next. I called this. I lost my mind on TikTok. I'm like, holy shit, he is planting the narrative as to what we are about to see unfold. This was, I believe this was an interview that was strategic, starting now. The strategy of this interview starts now.
Please forgive me. But if you don't have the information, people do know. If they don't, then you
Give
know
us
the
something.
community. This is a community that is IT based. These guys live a digital footprint like we've never. All of us older people, we don't know how much that digital footprint could be helpful. So that's what we asked for. I hope like a DNA, a family lineage, if they could come out here and just start taking, this town is not that big. We could figure out this, and it might not be him. It might be a family member. We have family all going to the school together. You know, there's cousins, there's aunts, there's uncles. We could
Yeah.
find this guy
Those,
just with volunteers.
lineage companies were, yeah.
What are the
Idaho
odds of
on the
that?
map.
Christy, Steve, we're going to
This guy
those,
just with volunteers.
lineage companies were, yeah.
Put Idaho on the map.
Put Idaho on the map for what, Steve? I believe that I can answer that question now looking through this lens. Let's put Idaho on the map. There's a lot of shit going on out here that needs federal cleanup. We need resources to come in and get these networks off of the damn streets in Idaho. Put them on the map. Put them on the map. The Pacific Northwest drug trafficking and human trafficking highway is out of control. Put them on the map.
Well, there's cousins, there's aunts, there's uncles. We could find this guy
those,
just with volunteers.
Lineage companies were, yeah.
Put Idaho on the map.
And do you think when he says there's cousins, there's aunts, there's uncles, right? So he's planting a narrative, but also is he talking about how a lot of people in the area at nights, like their families, have maybe similar beliefs? Maybe their brothers are in it with them. Their cousins are in them with it, or are in that gang with it. Who knows?
Christy, Steve, we're going to stay on this case.
Thank you.
We're not going anywhere.
Thank you.
You guys have been candid with us. We'll keep asking questions. Any resource that we have available, our audience is praying for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. It was big for you guys to come back to Moscow tonight. I know it took a lot of courage to do it, and I'm hoping we can get some answers for you. Thanks so much for joining me tonight.
Do you know what else I just noticed?
Yeah.
Their means of death don't match.
Maddie's
They don't.
and Kaylee's cause of death, it does not match based on the autopsy report.
They don't match.
Would indicate that one of them.
He doesn't have to
may
go
have
up
been
the
target.
steps. Let's stop playing games, guys. I need somebody to step up and be an alpha. Be somebody to be a leader. Don't make me do it. I don't want to do it. He doesn't have to go up the steps. Their points of damage don't match. I'm just gonna say it. It wasn't leaked to me. I earned that. I paid for that funeral. I paid for that. It's my right. You ain't taking that from me.
Calm down.
If you don't want to say nothing, that's your bet. But don't say I'm leaking anything. I paid that bill. Sent my daughter to college to get an education. She came back in the box, and I can speak on that.
I was also told from sources that are closer to an investigation, because there was a lot of roommates in there. And this was horrific for those roommates that were there as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
The preservation of this crime scene. Witnesses tell me that it may have well been preserved because the phone was passed around between one of the fraternity members and the girls. One of them unfortunately witnessed the death, the body there. Can you confirm that?
We cannot actually. We know nothing about that whole phone call. We've asked, and it's, I mean, I know that a lot of people want to know, but that's just not our agenda. We just are like, somebody called 911, somebody was reported.
You know, I'm just trying to think, like, somebody said, why are they just sitting in the cold talking? I mean, I started to think, like, are we to believe they're, again, I'm thinking through everything. Like, who's to say that this isn't in a studio with a green screen? You know, you could say, oh, you see their breath. Well, okay, like, it's Fox. These media networks are huge. I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Like, the sound is very consistently the same. Like, there's no different sounding car. All of the tires sound the same. The same lights loop in the background on these windows. I don't know. I'm just thinking, you know, it's not, who's to say though that they're not in a set that, you know, is like a fridge where it would show your breath. Again, I don't know. I'm thinking through everything, Hive.
Unconscious. We don't really know. I mean, we've heard so many different things and nothing has been clarified or been told to us at all. And I mean, I don't know if I personally have asked anything about that. I don't know if you have asked that, but we know that this is getting 3 weeks in and it's starting to get, we don't want it to go cold. We're reaching out. I've reached out to friends down in California today that have connections that we're hoping to raise some money to get a reward, to get a private investigator.
Third party.
Why go the private route? Do y'all worry that at the end of this week, that this case may be
100%.
cold.
We're scared.
When you
We're
tell me you
scared.
don't want a photo up there with the reward offering information, that kind of sounds like you're trying to like suppress the story. I mean, why do you not need help? But hey, I could be wrong, and you officers, I apologize if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I want to.
Absolutely.
Please forgive me. Please forgive me. But
Holy shit, Red Man. Wow. Redman said, Susie Mack pointed out Rosie, if Rosie was in bed with Kaylee and wasn't supposed to be there, he could have shot the perps. That's how Gunderson comes to help. That's the voice that Dylan didn't know was Rosie providing. Holy shit. How many people have had suspicions about Rosie? That man right there told us to call 911. It's okay. I'm going to help you. Everyone said that sounds like a cop. That sounds like what a cop would say. And yeah, I saw Crow and Rainbow said they said that last night. So, and if I miss them, that's, dude, that could be it. Holy shit, I have goosebumps. That could be it. I don't like that this camera moves sometimes. I kind of like that it tracks me. I don't know. It kind of feels creepy too. Wow. Yeah, my mind is blown. Tell me that wouldn't. Holy shit, dude. I'm just shook right now. That's the question that I see. Like that's the question is like, instead of thinking, but why, let's think through as well. Not Lamey Jamie. That was epic last night. Let's try to think through, because while yes, that's an important question, let's try to think through what would lead to a cover up first. That could lead to the cover up. Why would they cover it up? It goes back to what I said. You have a cop potentially sleeping with a low-level CI that you're using to try to track down the Aryan Knights with a federal ongoing investigation. These people just so happen to try to get an assassination hit that night. They would cover that up. I don't like this thing following me around.
But if you don't have the information, people do know. If they don't, then the community. This is a community that is IT based. These guys live a digital footprint like we've never. All of us older people, we don't know how much that digital footprint could be helpful. So that's what we ask for. I hope like a DNA, a family lineage, if they could come out here and just start taking. This town is not that big. We could figure out this, and it might not be him. It might be a family member. We have family all going to the school together. There's cousins, there's aunts, there's uncles. We could find this guy with volunteers.
Lineage companies were,
Put Idaho on the map.
Christy, Steve, we're going to stay on this case.
Thank you.
We're not going anywhere.
Thank you.
You guys have been candid with us. We'll keep asking questions. Any resource that we have available, our audience is praying for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. It was big for you guys to come back to Moscow tonight. I know it took a lot of courage to do it, and I'm hoping we can get some answers for you. Thanks so much for joining me tonight.
I just turned off the I can't figure out how to turn this tracking thing off. Whatever. It'll be fine. Here's the next one we were
How
told
you
to
guys
watch.
doing?
Me, it's not real yet. I'm a bit in denial. I'm hoping for justice. That's why I'm trying to switch myself into that mode to try to find some justice. That's where I'm at.
I get it. Steve, Olivia?
Yeah, I just know my sister, she was a hard worker, and just sitting in my bed and crying myself to sleep isn't gonna do her any justice. And that's not what she'd want me to do. She'd want me to stay active and doing what I can to spread her message and hope that we can find this suspect or suspects. And that's how I feel.
I get it. I get it. She's got a great smile. We keep showing that picture. I know your family's been frustrated with the investigation so far, understandably so. Here we are a week and a half out, and really not much information about this. Does not appear to be a suspect. Tell me, Olivia, what specifically you've been frustrated with, because you did your own work here. For instance, you found video of the food truck, for example, where two of the victims were seen the same night as this killing.
Yeah, I would say, I think that obviously this is extremely personal for us, and we treated it that way from the very get-go. I know how valuable those first 48, 72 hours are. And I can only hope that the police also know how valuable that is.
I don't think that they're covering up the 4 murders to protect the cop. I think they're covering up the 4 murders to protect the ongoing investigation that was into these drug networks. I'm telling you that this has a lot. Okay, I'm back. You know, who's to say that the girls are even involved? The girls just might be being protected because of the parents' involvement. They could have just been vulnerable, and maybe there was a tip that they were in danger. I don't know.
That they have a lot of information there that just isn't public right now. I will say the one lingering frustration I have is the timeline. I know it's semantics, but my sisters got home at 1:56. It wasn't 1:45. I know it might not seem significant, but when we're looking for camera, when we're looking for dash footage, when we're looking for any of those things, I do feel it is valuable, and they did get home at 1:56. It was not 1:45.
Right. Well, there's one detail there. Kaylee's mother has said she believes that the suspect, the killer, is someone Kaylee knew very well, and that the killer might even be at the vigil. Remarkable. I wonder, Steve, do you share that view?
It's speculation. My daughter was very popular. It seemed like everyone that I talked to said she knew everyone. They had parties. They were college kids. They were about to graduate. Yeah. So somebody could have partied in the house and got an idea or got the confidence to pull that off.
Steve, this question of a stalker, and I'm very conscious with this story of how many rumors have been circulating, and a lot of those rumors turn out to not be true. But Stephen, this discussion of the possibility she may have had a stalker, have police been able to stand that up, or not? They seem to be knocking that down.
Yeah, it seems to be knocked down. Obviously, any of that information would be new to us as well. Kaylee FaceTimed me. She didn't call or text. She FaceTimed me for literally hours, almost every single day. And she was extremely cautious. She was very vigilant. I think that she really would have noticed something, and she would have said it to us. She wasn't, scared to get us involved in her life in any capacity like that.
I know you're frustrated with how much and how information, developments in the investigation are being shared with the public. Are they sharing anything with you that they're not sharing publicly, in light of the fact that this was your sister, this was your daughter?
I'm not getting anything. They're not sharing much with me. I know that there's a separation in duties there. They do have the FBI now, so I don't know how much the individuals that I'm talking with, which are the local, are actually exercising their different jurisdictions. I think they might not know a lot because they have briefings, and if they haven't had a briefing, they probably don't know exactly what's going on.
Are they contacting you at all? Are they keeping you updated more than they are, say, on the website or with these press briefings?
To be honest, they're not. I mean, yesterday I asked about the stalker question and they couldn't confirm anything. And then today I hear that they're reaching out to the community saying that there's a stalker involved. So I don't know what to make of that.
It's
a
lot of
sorry, go ahead, Steve.
They're just so vague with everything that they say, and then they like slowly peel it back layer until you like find the real story. It all started with a sharp-edged weapon. What was the use in telling the community that a sharp-edged weapon was used instead of just coming out and telling us that it was a knife from the beginning? I don't understand the purposeness of being so
That's a good
vague.
point.
You're not holding the integrity of the case together by not telling anybody anything.
I understand you have frustrations for how police and investigators have handled the crime scene. What are those frustrations specifically?
Well, they expanded it, and there was volunteers that walked around, and they disclosed that they were looking and found different things. So, they did share with me that may have more to do with keeping cameras out than it actually does with evidence gathering. So I hope that is indeed the case, because it would be pretty disheartening a week later to know that they didn't have the right claims.
One of the mother of one of the surviving roommates, so reminding our viewers, there were two roommates who were upstairs and survived this, told a reporter that those roommates heard something that night. Have you been told? Have you heard from sharing with other relatives of the other victims what that was exactly?
No, I would say for us that we did hear those rumors, but right now we can only leave it at that. None of that has ever been confirmed to us.
We have not spoke with the roommates.
Yeah.
The surviving roommates, and they were downstairs, just to clarify that for you, sir.
Okay, downstairs, right, on a different floor from where it appears where the murders took place. One consistent thing, and granted there's been some changes, as you note, in how the police have described this. One consistent descriptor has been that the attack was targeted. Do you know if police believe one person in the house was the target of this attack, or all four?
I've been told it's one, but then again, there's the vagueness. Like, it's like purposely vague, I'm hoping, but it confuses everyone.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows what that really means, other than maybe somebody had a different kind of attack footprint.
Yeah.
So, I feel like we just want some more. We all want to play a part in helping, and we can't play a part if we don't have any real substantial information to work from.
Yeah, I get it. You want to help. I mean, Olivia, you found video that has been helpful in this investigation. I'm sure you do want to help. Has anyone indicated to you that if it was indeed one person targeted, was Kaylee the target? Has anybody shared that with you?
They won't confirm who that was to us.
Can I ask also, isn't it a little bit odd for somebody being the target? Like, I know that it matters, but does it matter as much as they're making it say? Like, they're so gung-ho on saying who was the target, and then they're also just as gung-ho in answering, we don't know. We don't know. Right? Like, it just seems like that's purposeful to say, well, we're not going to tell you who the target is. It was targeted. No, it wasn't targeted. The news keeps asking who was the target. All the families say, we don't know who it was. Was it Kaylee? Was it Maddie? Was it whoever? But it's like, that causes you to look at everything rather than if they said this person was targeted, you'd be able to walk right into probably why. So I think this is purposeful.
The police, that is.
We've heard the rumors that that's the case, but it's just a rumor at this point.
Tons and tons of rumors, but nothing.
And great point, Lisa. That is great point. Everybody would have been collateral at that point.
From the police.
And I'll say I think a lot of those rumors do stem from all of the vagueness, and it's human nature to want answers. It's human nature to kind of put forth a theory so that you can even comprehend it in your brain. And so I think that's how we're getting all of some of these really, really off the wall theories, and some of these theories like Kaylee had a stalker, that even we're sitting here scratching our heads saying, no, you know, it couldn't be. If it was.
What? They were scratching their heads about the stalker?
It would be news to us.
Yeah. I am sure it is frustrating. Your family has been very outspoken in support of Jack. He's Kaylee's ex-boyfriend. And on the Moscow police website, though, he is not listed, notably, as someone who has been cleared in the investigation. To your knowledge, is that significant?
No, I don't personally think so, because I think that there's the entire rest. I don't personally think so, because no, I don't personally think so, because I think that there's the entire rest of the world that's also not on that list of people who have been cleared.
Right.
Including Maddie's boyfriend, including any associates of Xana or Ethan that might not be involved. I don't find that significant at all.
And there were a number of phone calls to him that night, and you say that would have been typical behavior for Kaylee, that she often would call friends, folks, you know, for a whole bunch of things.
At any time, yeah. Multiple times, until I would pick up at 3 a.m. and be like, Kaylee, what? You know?
Yeah.
And some of the last footage of her at that food court, she's on her phone 24/7 filming the whole thing. So she lived on that phone. So
yeah. It sounds like you're saying that the delays here in sharing information, the delays in, well, frankly, making more progress on the investigation, mean the police have lost their best opportunity, right? I think, Olivia, you were saying that those early hours and days are key. That's when you can make real progress. Do you believe that they've missed their best chance here, or may have?
Not only is that's just not a matter of opinion, that's a matter of fact. If you look statistically at homicide cases, those first 10 days are so incredibly important in finding a suspect. They determine almost 9 out of 10 times, I believe it was, if you'll find a suspect. So yeah, that's not very encouraging to hear, that they want to cast this wide net of suspects now. And people we know have no involvement. Suspects now, and people we know have no involvement. Cast this wide net of suspects now, and people we know have no involvement. So yeah, that's not very encouraging to hear, that they want to cast this wide net of suspects now, and people we know have no involvement. Find a suspect. So yeah, that's not very encouraging to hear, that they want to cast this wide net of suspects now, and people we know have no involvement.
They want to cast a wide net cast for the suspects now for people we know have no involvement. That almost sounds like DNA and the genealogy. That's the route they wanted to go. We know they have no involvement. Why would we do that? That's what he just fucking said, dude. Wow.
Cast this wide net of suspects now, and people we know have no involvement. That's not very encouraging to hear, that they want to cast this wide net of suspects now, and people we know have no involvement.
Wow. And then I want to go to this as well.
I would like to begin with a message from the White House to the families of the victims in the brutal murder case in Idaho. We are so sorry for the grief and the pain you have experienced at the hands of such a vicious and evil killer. If it were up to the president, he would have forced this monster to publicly explain why he chose to steal these innocent souls. I would like to begin with a message from the White House to the families of the victims in the brutal murder case in Idaho. We are so sorry for the grief and the pain you have experienced at the hands of such a vicious and evil killer. If it were up to the president, he would have forced this monster to publicly explain why he chose to steal these innocent souls. I would like to begin with
that has always just, that's always been something that when Trump talked about it, you know, and it's, you know, the guy tweets a bunch of shit, or he posts on Truth Social, a bunch of shit, but it's very odd that that's talked about it by a president. A plea deal. Plea deal where there's apparently so much evidence. It seems very unlike Donald Trump to comment on that in that regard. Mainly saying just because I guess I don't know. Like, that's just odd. Like, he should have been forced to explain why. It's just bizarre. And yeah, it's random and it's years later. And that's what I'm getting at, Aaron. There's a reason there was a press conference. There's definitely a reason behind it. That's why I think that this had to have been something that went really high up if you're going to have the media run that much cover for you. Yes, it's clearly been planned for a long time. What would have happened if Kaylee changed her mind last minute and didn't? Yeah. Exactly. See, now that is deep, Bazaroo. That is deep. Where's Caroline's chain and cross? Did she take it off like she does when she knows she's lying? Holy shit. I don't watch enough of like the political press conferences like that to know that, but that if that's the case and there's a pattern to that, holy shit, that is a top dog pattern catch in general. Oh, that'd be wild. So where are we at? What is everybody's thoughts on the fact that there could have been somebody who tried to kill these girls in that house still? I feel like there's got to be something that we could look at. And that's why I love Saturdays with these live digs, kind of just going with the flow. But we just watched two things, we see their body language, but there's got to be something like that we can look at that points to this. Birdie's basement. What does that mean, Discord Dawn? I mean, I've had this. I've shown this. I'm not just trying to keep going back to things that I've shown. I really want to keep thinking through like the timeline and stuff. But I really think that of all my theories now, the one aspect of this theory still holds true. And this was the trigger moment. With federal indictments ready, high-risk safe houses mapped, cartel-linked crypto washed through college wallets, or just in general, there's a story that had to take the spotlight, especially if there was an attempted assassination. So this was the trigger for all of this. In a quiet town, instead of saying that this was a made-up story, in a quiet town, one of these four students or two of those four students' parents cooperated with the feds to get federal indictments ready. They attempted to brutally murder them. The girls killed the people because they were aware of it, or there was a cop on scene because they knew they were in danger. And while the country then screams serial killers after they have a Brian Koberger Patsy activated, which is a criminology student obsessed with serial killers, and they arrest him, the feds are able to move silently. I mean, you go back to this video.
Less than an hour ago, we were here, and about 5 plainclothes investigators, we don't know if they're local, state, federal, they were inside, and we saw a lot of
This makes way more sense now.
inside the home, and the home was lit up. So we were able to peek in some of the windows, but we saw those men inside the home in the two particular rooms where the murders took place. We did not see them leaving with any materials. I asked them a couple of times, why are they back? They did not answer me. They pulled away in two vehicles. One had a Washington state plate. The other had an Idaho plate. But that is all we can tell you. But we did see a lot of activity. This house was lit up for nearly an hour. They were inside. We don't know why. Nothing seemed to be removed. But as you know, Ashley, yesterday, a lot of the kids' belongings were removed by Moscow police to be returned to their families.
So I'm just watching these guys as they're walking by you. Were you asking them questions, and were they effectively just ignoring you? Did they say hello? Did they say anything at all?
Not a peep. And I asked them specifically, why are you here tonight? Why are you here tonight? They did not acknowledge me. So certainly they were on a mission, and they left without saying a word.
So, Nancy, I just want to point.
And they tore down the house. You could use post-murder chaos to seize flagged rentals of said stash houses. HSI quietly deported international runners tied to maybe trafficking people over the border. The fentanyl seizures in Washington and Idaho reached record highs. None of them were publicly tied to students. Digital forensics were all wiped. Informants could be relocated. Cops are relocated. People on the case are relocated. All the filings are sealed. I mean, I was close with this theory. The Idaho murders were used. They framed it that way to end a 5-year multi-state operation that was targeting cartel trafficking or drug networks through the Pacific Northwest. Kohberger's either a patsy or a burned asset. And I said, this is what I got wrong. The victims were either random targets of opportunity or worse. But now I'm wondering if the potential victims actually killed somebody who tried to get them. I mean, that's crazy. That's still weird to me, too. It's a chess move. Well, Hive, first of all, I just want to say last night was an absolute blast. I know it's a 4-hour live. I will have that cut up after I go golfing today. And tomorrow night is the roundtable. So let me just re-announce these people who are on the roundtable. Which, by the way, too, the Daily Sting, I tried that for a week. Those are now going to be Friday mornings at 7 a.m. I figured it's something where people can tune in on Friday. I'll go over the week's worth of news or going into the weekend, just 3 stories in 20 minutes with no bullshit. I figured 7 a.m. would be better than 8:30, just so that if there are people getting ready for work or if you're driving, you can tune in that way. And it's more of like just a morning show. And then that leaves the Friday nights open for the live digs. So if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, like this, share this out with your friends. Let's grow the Hive. Let's spread the word. Let's wake people up on our way of thinking, which is that thinking differently hits differently. And Cleopatra, Jennifer Quaid, and Marissa Rivet, please send me an email. I will get you the link via email as soon as you all confirm. I'm checking it right now, and I don't have an email from anybody yet. confirming that. And if that whatever, if it doesn't work out, I'll still go live on 7. And the Halloween one's going to be the big one. But with that being said, Hive, I hope you all have a great Saturday. If anybody knows Cleopatra, Jennifer Quaid, or Marissa Rivet, if they're in the Discord, if you guys could please let them know to send me an email and confirm. But I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Cheers.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.